Morning, boys and girls. How are you doing today? Guess what? I got a special surprise visitor for today. He came to visit. Oh, look who came to visit my house today. Pete the cat. Well, Pete asked if I could read one of his stories today. So I'm going to read one of his stories. It's Pete the cat and the Bedtime Blues. You guys ever have bedtime blues? Yeah, sometimes you don't want to go to sleep. I understand. But sleep is very important. So let's see what Pete's up to. There again, there's Pete and the Bedtime Blues. Pete and the gang had a great day. They'd all been at the beach. Surf and sun and tons of fun. There's all their friends. They're out surfing. I'd like to surf sometime. Would any of you like to go surfing? Looks like it'd be fun. But when the sun went down, they didn't want the fun to end. Pete had an idea. Remember I showed you before when they have a picture and it has a light bulb? That means that that character is having an idea. Hey, how about a sleepover? More time for tons of fun. Groovy. Pete's place, let's go! And they hop on the bike and they're on their way. The party was far out, but they knew they couldn't stay up all night. The gang decided it was time to say goodnight. Eventually it's time to go to bed, isn't it? On went the pajamas and out went the light. Good night, Gus. Good night, alligator. Good night, Toad. Good night, Pete. They all seem to say it at the same time. Pete was just about to catch some Z's when clap, clap, clap. Who did that? Pete asked. It was me, said Grumpy Toad. I don't want to go to bed. I want to clap instead. Pete covered his head. This cool cat needs to go to bed. Good night, Gus. Good night, alligator. Good night, Toad. Good night, Pete. Time to sleep. Oh, look at the alligator's got some hot pizza. Pete tried again to catch some Z's when rat-a-tat-tat. Who did that? Pete asked. It was me, said Gus the platypus. I don't want to go to bed. I want to jam instead. Pete covered his head. This cool cat needs to go to sleep. Time to sleep. Good night, Gus. Good night, alligator. Good night, Toad. Good night, Pete. Pete closed his eyes to catch some Z's when he heard... Munch, munch, munch. Pete had a hunch. It was alligator. He was already up for eating. What could Pete do? Oh, there did it. Excuse me. There that is. He's eating that hot pizza. Yummy, yummy, yummy. All the clapping, rat-a-tat-tatting, and munching was giving him the bedtime blues. Pete had a groovy idea. He got out his favorite bedtime story and started to read, first to himself and then to the gang. And the book he chose was Pete the Cat and the 10 Little Monsters. Pete noticed it was finally quiet. No more clapping, no more rat-a-tat-tatting, and no more munching. That's kind of like when we read our story before a nap. Some of you are asleep before I'm even finished. They all settled down. No one made a sound. I guess they weren't quite asleep yet. Pete yawned and turned off the light. Good night. Sleep tight. Time to catch some Z's. Do you guys know what Z's means in the story? Right. It means sleep. That means they're gonna sleep. Tomorrow was another day for surfing and tons of fun. Take a look at those different pictures of Pete. Got him in a box, in PJs, playing with cars. Let's see what's on this side. Oh, some of the same things. Cool story. Pete, what did you think of that story? Man, I thought that story was groovy. Alright, boys and girls, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.